Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Well, based off the last interview we had, we can tell that Jackson had a very eventful childhood per se. But what about later in life? How did his nature affect the career of this man?
Because of his rambunctious personality, he had quite a few run-ins with problems over the years. Today, however, we're going to be talking about the parts of his career as a general that helped him reach his levels of fame. His involvement with the War of 1812 is what started it. During this war, Andrew Jackson was a mere common man who no one expected to lead an army. Yet, he did exactly that, and became a general for the U.S. Army's Southern District. Everyone was amazed at how Andrew Jackson came up with incredible battle strategies, even though he had no prior military experience. These strategies were crucial to helping Jackson fight off the Creek Indians at the Battle of Tohopeka.
Surrender. You stand no chance. If you surrender now, I will let your women and children go free. But for the men, I cannot say the same, for your crimes against the Union are despicable.
We'll never surrender.
Well then, charge!
For the Union!
Stop! Go on the cannons, you fools.
All right.
Fire! This war was pivotal for the Union and Andrew Jackson's reputation, as his clever tactics allowed the Union to have a clear edge in this battle. He used the cannons not as weapons, but as distractions. They were a diversion in order to begin the real attack at the back of the village, with the assistance of the rival native tribe, the Cherokee, also known as the White Stick. This clever flank was crucial in their victory.
They got cannons. We gotta go get them.
It's time to surround them. For the Union!
For the Union!
After his success in the battle, the U.S. War Department awarded Jackson the position of Major General in the U.S. Army over the 7th Military District. He was ordered to create peace with the natives that were involved in the battle. So, in 1814, he met with the native leaders and had forced them into signing the Treaty of Fort Jackson, which made them surrender nearly 23 million acres of land and forced the natives to relocate to smaller reservations.
Sure, that's not all right. What else did Jackson do?
Jackson also had another major role in the War of 1812, which was the Battle of New Orleans, where he gained a majority of his fame.
How so?
Britain had turned their attention towards the United States after they had finished their war with France, so they sent fresh troops to the U.S. Jackson heard of the rumored invasion through New Orleans, and being the bold character that he was, Jackson made a questionable decision to invade Spanish-controlled Florida and take out the opposing British and native forces.
Wait. Where's the part he becomes a hero, though?
We're just about to get there. Jackson went back to New Orleans, Louisiana, where he composed a unique army. It was made up of normal soldiers, volunteered militia, freed blacks, Creoles, allied natives, and even some pirates. The problem was that he was greatly outnumbered and lacked experience compared to British forces.
Don't tell me he actually pulled that off.
Surprisingly, he did. After a few weeks of light skirmishes between the U.S. and British forces, Britain finally led a fully fledged attack against the defenders of New Orleans. And, shockingly, the U.S. came out on top, driving the British forces out of Louisiana.
I assume they still pretty hard after that, right? I mean, the U.S. were the underdogs after all.
They really did. It wasn't until a year later, however, when the Treaty of Ghent was ratified, ending the War of 1812. As you would guess, his victory in New Orleans really made a name for himself.
I mean, you think he would have a hatred for the British, right? I mean, as a kid, he lost his family to them, he was cut by them on the face, and now he had to face them in the war as a general. So were there any events that clearly showed his hatred for them after this?
Yeah, there were definitely some conflicts with the British. Even after the War of 1812, although the war was technically over, due to the terms and conditions of the Treaty of Ghent, another conflict arose. Again, under questionable authority, Jackson and his army invaded the Spanish territory of Florida and took control of many of its ports, leading the conflicts with the Seminoles in the First Seminole War. The Seminoles were another collective group of Native Americans and even included runaway slaves who sought refuge within them.
Hold the line!
During this time, Americans still had a bitter taste for the British, and as soon as Jackson figured out that 2 British men were helping the Seminoles, Jackson became enraged and decided to hunt them down, executing both by hanging one and shooting the other.
Wow, that's a little extreme, don't you think? Couldn't that cause some conflict around his reputation?
Jackson's actions were condemned by Congress, but applauded by the populace, who favored him because of his gung-ho attitude and relatability as a common man. As you can tell, the role the British played in his tragic childhood definitely had an effect on his actions as a leader.